All right, my friends, welcome back to the RPG Backlog. We are here for a new arc. We are talking about Supergiant Games, Bastion, their first full release. And it's just me and it's Travis. Travis, how you doing?
Well, as people can probably tell if you've heard me before, a little under the weather, but overall still good.
Every week we have someone sick on our podcast.
That's not true. That started when Tom joined. Prior to that, we went months with nobody getting sick.
That's a good point. Somehow he got you sick over the internet.
And the fairness is this is the first time I think I've been sick in like 5 years.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good run.
Well,
I've been sick longer than that.
3 of them, we weren't allowed to be around people, so.
Yeah. Oh, man. So we are talking about Bastion. We're looking at a guide that you found, actually. You found from strategywiki.org. And it breaks up Bastion into, I think, about 20 sections or so.
It was 20 sections, yeah.
Yeah. So we're taking over the first 5. We're talking about the Wharf District. We're talking about the Bastion itself, and then the Workman Ward, the Melting Pot, and the Sundown Path. But before we get into kind of more specifics, what did you think about this, the game overall so far?
So, again, I played it years ago and never beat it. So, it's slow paced. Is the nice way to put it. Like, I don't remember the game being so slow and methodical. The kid just kind of moves really slow. But I still enjoy the game. It just, I don't know. I guess I feel like this style lends itself more to a little bit more faster pace, but maybe it's just because I'm used to things like Hades nowadays.
Yeah.
Where it is more faster paced. So,
this is so reminiscent of Hades for me. The way that you kind of interact with enemies, the way the numbers pop off the enemies, the way that you are, the viewpoint, the isometric viewpoint, the decorations, the way that you're leveling up your different weapons, even your, in Hades you have the dash, here you have the roll, but the way that you're, when you aim your bow and you're kind of moving backwards and you kind of see the line, like where the arrow is going to go, everything feels like early Hades. So I totally get that, where it feels like this should be moving faster, and it's definitely slower paced.
You can definitely see the fact that this is the groundwork for Hades.
Oh yeah,
across the board. Like the graphics, the sound design, everything about it just feels like the test bed that became Hades. It was like, okay, we have this concept, let's try it out here, see if it works. Okay, solid game, but let us tweak it, and then bam, they got Hades. So, and the way the world kind of crumbles and reappears is kind of reminiscent of just the randomness of the way Hades maps kind of build out. So yeah, I guess I wish if they just sped this up a little bit more, because even the other thing I've noticed, one of my complaints is the tells on the enemy attacks. There's almost no ability to react to them, so much as you just got to learn the timing of when they're going to do stuff and just preemptively do it as the tell is coming. Whereas in Hades, it's like you get the tell and you're like, okay, you have that second to react before the attack actually comes.
Yeah. I felt like I don't know, like even the enemy design is so similar to Hades for me that it's so interesting to me that Hades came out so much later, because after this was Transistor, then it was Pyre, and then it was Hades. So it's something that maybe they percolated on for a really long time.
So you've played Transistor. How does this compare to that? Because I'm like, because I didn't play Pyre, because we went over this last time where it was a multiplayer game. I haven't played Transistor, but I'm trying to figure out, was Transistor an evolution of this?
I don't know if Pyre was multiplayer though.
I thought it was.
You play on a team, but it's, as far as I remember, it's single player. Yeah.
I just assumed it was multiplayer because it was a team-based thing.
Yeah, it's team-based. I don't think it was multiplayer, but I could be wrong. But still, it's a different vibe completely. Transistor, like, it would be interesting to play it again after having played Hades, because certainly the viewpoint is the same, but really a lot of it is quite different in terms of the sci-fi aesthetic, the story, the interaction between you and your weapon. Like the weapon is like one of the main characters, and it talks to you through your controller and such. So you're not really upgrading a bunch of different weapons as far as I remember, although there are skill trees, which is also different. So it feels different. Pyre, which I played a little bit, and Transistor, which I played and beat, both feel different than this. Like this feels like a prototype for Hades, whereas the other two don't necessarily. So it's interesting to maybe, from a design aesthetic, like you've done something like this, it's kind of launched your studio, and then you go and do other things, and then you think, well, what if we refined that a little bit and made it, I don't know, iterated on it a bit. And then obviously they're doing Hades 2. But in terms of this one, one of the things that I find different from Hades than this one, at least in some of the areas, and I think the first area, the Wharf District, is one of them, where you are walking through, and as you're walking, the land is kind of coming down to meet you, or up to meet you, I mean. But the pathways are narrow, so there's a lot of places where you don't have a big arena to move around in, and then enemies are popping up on that gangplank or the walkway or whatever. Whereas with Hades, for the most part, you're moving around bigger arenas, or you have room to dodge, and the locomotion. You have more space for that. Where this is like, I mean, I fell off. I fell off the walkways several times, and the narrator's like, something like he's slipping around. He needs to watch his step or something like that, which was interesting.
Yeah, they use the limited maps, or the way that the world just falls off, as a way to kind of force. It's like they're controlling the combat to be a very specific way.
Yeah,
by forcing it, which is an interesting choice. And the other thing is a lot of the stuff on the map is breakable too.
Oh my god, I spent so much time just breaking it.
How did I know that was going to be the case?
Yep.
So the one thing I've learned, because I think I've fallen off once, and it was actually in the Bastion, in your home planet, in your home base, because I was rolling toward, because running is slow as shit.
Yeah.
So I started rolling to move around there quicker, and I was rolling towards the warp and rolled right through it and over the edge. I was like, oh shit, you can go past the warp place. Okay, sweet. But it's just interesting how they use that to control things. But what I started doing is not destroying all the shit, to where, because your roll will still damage it, but even if you damage it and break it, it'll prevent you from going over the edge that first time.
Oh, okay. So you leave it as like a buffer almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And just because, like, some of the mobs that you fight, like those, they look like the ghosts from Mario. Just
yes, they do.
Really big.
Yep.
Some of those guys, because they're so big, and the area that you're trying to fight them is so freaking small, I was like, okay, if I don't leave those boundaries on there, I'm going for a ride every time.
Oh yeah, that's what happened to me. Is I would fall off, and it's fine, but it just made me think. This kind of combat, I really do need a bigger arena for it, to stop myself from, button mashing, falling off the edge, sort of stuff, which is fine.
This game does not treat button mashers well. I've kind of come to the realization.
Yeah, you're kind of committing to your action, and you're kind of, if I'm swinging in the middle, I'm not able to move, so I'm kind of stuck in the middle. And then the enemies are kind of moving, like that big ghost thing where it kind of just slides towards you with like the sludge underneath it or whatever, setting yourself up. But I haven't really died from combat. Like I've died from rolling off, but I haven't really had any sort of issue, except for the boss, or not boss. There's some battle in one of the areas, I can't remember which one, where they just like juggle you into the air, and you have to press B to kind of like get out of it and land.
Oh, the ones with the hammers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's that one. I think you're talking about the one where you're trying to eat
it's the thing in the cage, right? The crystal.
The crystal, cage. Yeah. I mean, you're waiting for the cage to open up, and they keep dropping more and more and more squirts, I guess is what they're calling them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh no, the squirts are the little ones. Maybe they call them something else.
I know you're talking about the little worm-looking thing or whatever.
Yeah, they just keep dropping mobs on you. Yeah. I know exactly which one. I think that was the melting pot. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
I think it's the melting pot, because the sundown path was the one. Yeah, I was like, the second I click on it, it immediately shows that arena.
Yeah, the Send Path was the one where you had like the different fan things that kind of warped you from place to place or shot you across the little fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was collapsing on you as you were running through it because someone else had grabbed the crystal.
Yeah, exactly. It's falling down as you're walking across, like Mario, the donut platforms or whatever, where you hit it and they start to shrink and fall down.
Yeah.
But I thought it was, each level so far seemed to have had a different kind of mechanic like that, like the fans jumping from place to place and the stuff coming to meet you or stuff falling down. And I felt like, you had talked about the slow movement, which is true of the kid, that's for sure. But I felt like the levels, this is level based, were pretty short. None of them were very long. I was surprised how quickly we got through these 5.
Yeah, if I hadn't been traveling all last week, we could have easily probably knocked out half of this.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Which is fine that we didn't, but it's moving. I think we had said it's a 6-hour game. I thought we had read on how long to beat or whatever. But we blew through the first 5 sections in like an hour and 20, something like that.
Well, I'm probably a little bit longer because I went and did all 3 of the proving grounds, which you did not. I'm at an hour and a half playtime.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's around an hour.
Yeah. And I did all 3 of the proving grounds.
Yeah, and the proving grounds were like skills tests with different weapons, right?
Yes. Yeah. Which one did you try?
The arrow one, I think it was the first one.
The first one? Yeah. The first one was the bow and arrow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The second one for me was the machete. And then the third one was the repeater.
I just didn't find the... Sorry, go ahead.
Go for it.
No, I just didn't find it that fun or interesting, so I only did it once, and I was like, I don't need to do this.
The only reason why I do it is because I know that if you get the max on them, you get additional skills with those weapons that you don't get any other way.
Oh, okay. And was it worth it? Did you get stuff you can attach to your weapon or make them?
Yes. Rated? So like which one do you get for the bow and arrow? The bow and arrow, I think you get something like a rain of arrows ability.
Okay.
It's the breaker volley skill used delivering arrow after arrow in rapid succession devised by the breaker. Yeah. So it's basically you just get as opposed to with the bow, you have to hold it down, and if you get to the certain point and release at just the right time, you get the power shot.
Yeah.
But the breaker volley allows you to shoot them. Like just bam, 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 like almost like the repeater. So. And then, what does the machete? I can't remember what the machete one does. But you get skills that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Okay. And that probably makes the rest of the game a little easier. Weapons do a little more damage or do special skills and things.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been using the machete and the repeater because the machete allows you to throw it, do a similar thing as the bow does on its own. So I've been using those 2 weapons.
Yeah, I think the machete is the one I'm using as well. The machete and the bow. I don't know. The combat's fine. Like, I don't find it like particularly interesting. Like I did with Hades. Like Hades was just, I don't know, it was so kinetic and frenetic. It just felt really fun. And so far, this feels like serviceable, and that's fine. The stand up for me of the game so far is the narrator talking through things as you do them.
And the fact that the game and the narrator kind of adapts to what you do.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool. Like yours making the comment about you falling off. I haven't got that.
Right. Falling off enough to get him to be like, what the fuck, dude? Stay on the land.
But even so did you do this all in one go?
I did. Yeah, I played it all in one sitting.
So since I sneaked around with this beforehand, like I wasn't supposed to, and then I came back like a week later, you'll be greeted by the narrator being like, and the kid comes back again.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. Like
okay.
he even like, at least it did for me. It was like, oh, and the kid comes wandering back or something along those lines. I was like, in my head, I'm sitting there thinking like, fuck you, man. Like, it's only been a week, dude. Don't give me
Oh my
shit.
God. It's like Animal Crossing when you come back to your village after a while and they're like, wow, this place is a fucking mess. Where's the mayor been? Oh, there you are, loser. Kind of like that shit.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I have to agree with you. Like the combat's kind of meh right now for me. The story's intriguing. But the narrator is by far the greatest part of this whole thing.
Absolutely. It really spices up. Yeah, I mean, it punctuates the short levels in a way that's like I'm looking forward to doing something mostly not stupid, but maybe stupid sometimes, just to see what the narrator says, which is cool. Like the part where you're going through the hanging gardens, I believe, where the people of your village are basically stone, and you're kind of like, I mean, I don't know if you did. I smacked him with my hammer.
Where you? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where like you go into like the bar or whatever, and there's the one dude, the one person there, and you like,
yeah, and you're trying to get down to that guy.
Yeah, and I accidentally broke that person, and it was I can't remember. He made some snide comment about it too.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of the stone statues, and he's like, oh, and I don't know, it didn't quite say it like this, but like, well, that's one way to greet your lost friends or something like that. But yeah, you're going through that level trying to get to the guy at the end, the monk or whatever. It's not a monk, but there's like a living person. Like everyone else is turned to stone, but there's actually a dude at the end of this thing that you're saving. Zulf. Yeah. That was his name, Zulf.
I don't remember. But it's again, it's kind of interesting just because the story is, as I said, it's not great, but there's just enough weirdness to it, and the narrator adds this air to it that I'm just like, I want to know what kind of things. And I found myself doing this. I don't know if you did. When I realized he started reacting to things I did, I would start doing random shit to see if I can get him to say stuff.
Yeah, I didn't do that yet. So only just in the level, like, you know, when I saw the stone statues, for example, I hit them because I knew that narrator was going to say something about it.
So I don't know if you can, but you remember those the spiny like cactus things that come up?
Mm-hmm.
And he made some comment. Roll into him a few times and see what he does. It's kind of
okay.
Yeah,
well, that's cool.
I remember he made some smart comment about me not knowing what I was doing.
Like you should be able to notice that those things are not good for you to roll into, kind of thing.
Something along those lines. Yeah, he was just kind of like, okay, dude, like, do you not understand that I told you that they were sharp and you shouldn't touch them, type thing? I was like, oh, okay.
Do you understand the point of cactuses and how you shouldn't do that? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So I got to give them props for a first game out. The fact that they had something. The narrator, again, being adapting to what you're saying, it's like they had to think of a lot of things that a player's going to do and then come up with a quip for the narrator to say and then record it. So the fact that I found these little nuggets, I'm sitting there going, I wonder what I could do to push them and how far or how creative they got with this.
Yeah. It's something, I mean, it's, 2011. So something that makes it stand out, right? An indie game that has something that when people are previewing or playing or whatever, like, wow, you should check this out. This narrator is awesome. I remember when I first picked up on Vita, I was like, when Anthony was talking about it, I was like, dude, this narrator is kind of weird. He's like, yeah, that's kind of the whole game. How interesting that you interact with it and interact with you. Speaking of interacting, I guess the other main conceit of the game is that you're building the Bastion, right? You're bringing back those crystals and unlocking different parts of your hometown, and you bring Zulf back at the end of the Hanging Gardens and are kind of repopulating after this calamity a little bit. It feels for me like pretty straightforward. Like, here's the forge, here's different things that I would expect to bring back to kind of rebuild my city. Nothing that stood out. I don't know. Is anything surprising? How have you taken that whole process?
It just seems cookie cutter.
Yeah, that's
not in a bad way. Like, it's not like it's sometimes you say something's really cookie cutter, it's like that's kind of a descriptor to be like, oh, they just kind of phoned it in.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like they phoned it in, but it just feels, I guess, formulaic would be a better way of putting it.
Right. Like, those things are going to be there. There's going to be the forge. There's going to be the areas that pop up in these kind of fantasy games. And I get to upgrade my weapon there. Cool. I can spend those little diamond things that I'm picking up when I'm defeating enemies. That's great.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because it's like, oh, you have this ability to build it how you want to, but reality is there's only 3 options that we've had so far. So
Yep.
no, you really don't. You just choose which order you get them. It's not like you get anything. At no point in time did I feel like I was making a decision where it's like, oh my god, this is going to drastically change my gameplay. It was literally like, oh, I've got 3 of them. There's 3 buildings to build. Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, it's the distillery. That's right. I was trying to remember the name of that one, where you're basically getting those potions or whatever to augment your abilities.
Which is interesting, but a lot of those things I'm sitting here, I don't know about you, but I was looking at the distillery, I was like, oh, a lot of these things are like, oh, yeah, you have 100% crit chance, but you have to be damn near dead to do it.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Thanks, but no thanks. Let me take the one that gives me more health and call it a day for right now.
Well, apparently over the course of the game, you're going to unlock about 20 of these things that each have different passives, which is kind of interesting. It makes me think a little bit of Hollow Knight, where you're getting the badges and they do different passive stuff in the background. But yeah, let's see here. What does... Oh yeah, plus 10 max health for the Squirt Cider. I think it's the first one that you
which
get.
Which is what I used.
Yeah.
Because the Dread Rum is a crit chance, but only at full health. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't happen very often. So,
right.
And then the Fetching Fizz is one that you can't take off. It's one that's already put on you.
Absorb Stray Fragments, which are the things you get to...
which you spend a level
your weapons.
Your weapons,
Yeah, I don't know. I think little things like that make the strategy of the game an attempt there. But so far, I've just like I don't know. The levels have been so short and so straightforward and so easy so far that I'm not sure how those are going to impact my gameplay.
There's something would have to change pretty drastically.
Yeah.
To cause these to be to have any real impact.
Maybe the difficulty ramps up. Maybe that's something that happens, because so far it's been fairly. I'm surprised actually how easy it's been, except for the rolling off of the pathways, and then that hammer trio or whatever, a group of hammer folks when you were trying to get the crystal there.
Yeah, the other thing that I will say that I'm a little, and maybe I'm expecting too much, but I'm sitting going, enemy diversity is damn near non-existent.
It's really lacking. It really is. Because even the ghosts that you were talking about, there's other ones that look more like almost like an Aladdin genie kind of enemy, but it's really a very similar move style and a very similar, at least part of it, design style.
Yeah, I was going to say, so far there's the Squirts, the Gas Fellas, which are the genie-looking dudes, the Scumbag, which is the ghost, and then the turrets. But then now I'm like looking at it, it's like, okay, there's one more. So it looks like they have the map divided into sections, because the thing, and I probably should be doing it, has content saying like, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, Caledonia, which is where we're at right now, which has the Squirts, the Gas Fellas, the Scumbags, the turrets, and then there's another dude, a Mechanical Pith. And then there's the Wilds, and okay, there's the Peckers, Pin Cushions, Wallflowers, Lunkheads, Stink Eye, Bootlicker, wow. Lung Blossom, Ankle Gator, and Stinkweeds. So I guess there is more. And then there's a last area called Ura, which has a Rattletail and an Ura Warrior.
Well, I think that's whatever I said his name was, Ulf or Rolf or Dolph. He's one of those people from that tribe or that group of people.
The Ura.
Yeah, the Ura, exactly.
Since the survivor is of Ura descent himself, these are the names that appear in waves in Survivor's Dream. Yeah, so I guess it means the kid is a Ura.
Oh, interesting.
Should I not be reading this? Is this something I'm supposed to find out later on? Holy crap.
I don't know, maybe. All right.
Oops.
That's all right.
Too late now.
But it is,
Spoilers.
but it is a discussion because the enemy variety isn't much now, and you think it'll ramp up, slowly ramp up, but it's a very short game, so like it really should be. I would expect more. So
Yeah, it's gonna happen pretty soon.
Say it again.
It's gotta happen pretty soon if it's gonna. Well, obviously it's gotta happen pretty soon because there are more enemies.
But. Yeah, there's more different enemies coming up. But the gas fella, the squirt, the scumbag, the security turret, is what we've seen so far. I don't think we've seen this mechanical pith yet.
And that's what I can remember.
Yeah, that's probably ahead of us. And the place we're at is Ceylondia.
Ceylondia.
Yeah, it's the S sound. Based on the IP. I think they said it in the game once too, but
the second you said it, I was like, yeah, I remember hearing that. So obviously they said it in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. It's just kind of, you can see there's, again, that's what we said earlier. Like, you can see that this is literally the foundations of Hades.
Yeah, and I think if we had played this first, we'd be like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I still think it's interesting, but like, boy, after coming from Hades to this,
yeah, I think this game would help out a lot if it was just sped up. Not a lot, just a little bit. Like, it doesn't need to be like 3 times faster or 4 times, not even 2 times faster, just like a 10% increase in speed in this. And I think it'd be a much better game.
I wonder if that's a potion we get later or something from the distillery that moves your base speed up.
I don't know. I already closed that one because I was like, I don't want to look.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm thinking that could be it. For me, same thing. Just move a little faster, but also expand the pathway so we have a bigger arena to move in. Because it just feels a little bit, not finicky, but a little bit too tight.
But would that make it too easy? Because we're already saying the game's pretty easy right now. But if you made the arenas bigger, then wouldn't it make it easier for you to?
Yeah, I feel like you'd be making it bigger, but then you'd be putting more enemies in to kind of balance that out, perhaps.
Maybe.
But then I'm just making us into Hades. So
right. And then the other thing is if you make it bigger and add more enemies, then it's kind of like, are you just artificially making the difficulty?
Yeah.
Like, that's a fine balance of like, where is you just it's almost like, okay, let's put a bigger boss in there. Okay, now we're just going to put more hit points on the same thing that we made before.
Yep. That's right.
Right. You're just making a damage cushion, which, yeah. I don't know. I don't mind the small arenas. I think it makes me think a little bit more about how I'm going to move around on it as opposed to just mashing buttons. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right. I know who I am. It's all good.
So for all you button mashers out there, you might have a little bit of a challenge with this game just because it doesn't want you to go rolling all over the place.
It doesn't. I know. That's my, after playing Wind Waker for so long, that's my main mode of transportation, man. If I can roll, I'm going to fucking roll.
Well, so the one thing that the hanging guard, not the hanging guard, it's the one before that. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my brain on this one. The Sundown Path. Did you happen to hang back and see if the world would actually fall out from underneath of you, or did you just balls to the wall run?
No, it's the Sundown Path is the one with the fans that push you from area to area, right?
Yeah,
and then the land drops below you.
Yeah, but the core is along the pathway. However, someone grabs the core just before the kid arrives, making the trip even more precarious. Because the region starts collapsing once you get there.
I fell down, yeah.
No, but I mean, did you stay and the world fell out from underneath of you, or did you just fall because you rolled off the edge?
Like, the little tile turns red and then eventually falls.
Okay.
So I fell. Is that what you're talking about? Because I fell down on one of those tiles. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know because I just ran and ignored everything.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think I killed maybe 2 things that entire freaking zone.
Oh, you were just like running your ass off, get out of there?
Yeah. I just balls to the wall, just bolted. The only thing I attacked were the roadblocks to break him out of my way and just
hand grenades at the end. Yeah, no, I fell and it just put me back on the thing. So I think the guy, the narrator said something, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh, so it actually does kind of time you on it. I was just curious because
not everything falls, not every tile falls.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, at least my experience was not every tile fell. Let me, I'm going to pull up a video real fast on that section because I don't remember every tile falling. I remember some tiles falling. Let's see here. It's Sundown Path.
Yeah, because I didn't hang around, and I was like, I wonder if I missed shit by not looking around and just running.
There was an item. Let's see, what does this guide say? There was a Sundown Path, a bronze spyglass memento.
Oh yeah, I totally. Oh wait, there's shit to pick up in this.
I think collectibles. I'm not sure that it does anything. Let's see here. Yeah, I see tiles falling, but I don't see everything falling. Just like some tiles. Yep, some tiles stay, and then some tiles fall.
Huh.
Oh, you know, actually, that's not true. Every single tile that this guy's hitting is falling eventually. Some of them he doesn't stay on very long, so the ones he doesn't stay on very long. Oh, no, that's not true. He just stayed on one for a long time attacking, and it stayed. So there are some that stay for, apparently. But most of them are falling, so.
Huh. What did you get for grabbing that item? Because I did not grab shit.
Let's see, was it a bronze spyglass?
Yeah.
Spyglass. I wonder if it gives you some sort of buff or if it's just like it's a memento. There's some looks like there's some lore attached to it, some story.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's dialogue that happens when you pick it up. If you say to the main old guy, it says something. To Zolf, it says something, and then to another character that we haven't seen yet, it says something else. Interesting. That's cool. Yeah, it just gives you a little bit of lore, which also again ties to Hades, where every time you do a run and you come back, you get a little more story. So here you pick something up and it's giving you a little more story. So they, testing the way that they do narrative.
Yeah, again, literally, hey, we made pre-Hades.
Well, that's how things go, right? You make a piece of art and it's the first thing, and then later you iterate on it and mutates into something new. So we're just going backwards in time.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just kind of, I agree with what you said earlier. This is one of the things where I think we would think a lot more highly of this game if we hadn't played Hades first.
Yeah, and I think we're critical in terms of just like kind of picking things apart. But overall, I'm having a good time with this. It's bound to get more engaging. It's not very sticky for me, but the music, as we mentioned last week, like that's besides the narrator, the music stands out.
They made it it's like they spent all their time and effort making this really awesome, unique world with the right pieces to make it really intriguing. And then when it came time to actually do something in it, they're like, oh shit, what do we do?
Yeah, you know what? That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair because it is fairly straightforward and rudimentary. Which is I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to say that it does this thing well. It does this thing well for sure, but it's not, we're 14 years later at this point.
In all fairness, if anyone's listened to the previous ones, especially the Final Fantasy 12 podcast, they would know when we're really ripping on something, we go for it. Right now, we are not ripping on anything. This is overall a solid game. We're nitpicking. We're trying to find things to be picky, and this is the equivalent of sticking our pinky out while drinking our overpriced cocktail or something. Yeah, we're being hoity-toity.
Yeah. No, but there's a lot to like here. Art, music, even the level design is pretty cool. Yeah, and we'll see if the combat and the gameplay gets more engaging as we move forward. So far, not so much, but.
You were saying this about Final Fantasy 2 being like that would be a great candidate for a remake. This would be a great candidate for not a remake, but a revisit.
Yeah,
to
like
do something else.
Yeah,
do something else in this, because this is a really unique world that they've built. And I don't know how much more of the story is going to get fleshed out about why it is like this, because the calamity is just this thing that's overhanging in the background. Nope, they haven't explained what it is. What caused it? Nothing, and maybe they never will. And if that's the case, that might be a really opportunity for a sequel to come back and do something pre-Calamity and then hit the Calamity in that game.
That'd be cool. Yeah, because I get the impression we're not going to know anything about that besides little lore bits, because it's like about like rebuilding, right, and moving on. But yeah, that would be great to see them reimagine this, especially all the learnings they've taken from Hades and such. But I guess
they'll probably never do it, but it'd be cool if they did.
Well, we thought they'd never do a sequel, and then they finally did a sequel to Hades. So, maybe there's more story to tell here. Next week, so we're probably gonna. I mean, I guess I don't know what we're gonna do. We might take it again with a chunk of 5, or we might go a little further.
I think we're gonna go. At this point in time, there's 15 sections left.
Yeah.
I would say we just do 8 and 7 and knock it out and do.
That's a good idea.
In 2 chunks and call it done.
Let's do that. So let's take the next 8. At least we'll set our goal there. We have the Hanging Gardens. We have Pith Orchard, Cinderbrick Fort, Langston River, Prosper Bluff, the Wild Outskirts, Jossen Bog, and then Rothus Lagoon. So we will take those next 8, and we will see you next week for Bastion Part 2.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, folks. If you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. If you don't like us, rate us anyways and give us a 5-star review. Just spite us by giving us a 5-star review. That's how that works. Right?
Rate us one way or another. Doesn't matter. Just do it.
Exactly. Tell a friend. Download it on their pod. I almost said iPod. Jesus.
Dating yourself there a little bit.
I am a little bit. What was I watching yesterday that was mentioning old shit? And I was like, wow. Anyway, rate us. Maybe. Tell a friend, definitely. And we'll see you next week for Bastion Part 2.
Peace.